Good evening, lads. It's been a long day, and I just fucking remembered I'm on bloody review duty. So, without further ado, no offence, Rag, for week number 16, was it? Week 16. First up, we had Jura versus Plops. Now, this everyone said was a foregone conclusion. Saturday Manny Happy Days was on a roll until Bukaki Jackies slapped his butt. But at the end of the day, he's playing Plops, who just is a serial plopper. But lo and behold, can you believe it? Saturday Manny's confidence was down, and Plops kicked him in the bloody gooch when he was on the floor. And not only did he beat him, he only pulled in 117 points. That's like me or you pulling in 300 points. Plops, hats off to you, my friend. Some key standout performers for Plops were big old Saul Bamba. The Cardiff defenders really pulled it in this week. He had Jamie MacArthur. I think he scored a goal, didn't he, James MacArthur? I think he scored the first one in the Palace defeat. He had Roberto Pereira, who got 2 assists. Very unfortunate not to win that game. Last kick of the game, Diggsy's dinner hired one in on a free Zimmer. But his main man with a plan was Son. Son again, 1 goal, 2 key passes, 1 assist. He's the man with a plan. Everyone took the piss because he got off to a slow start. But do you know how it is, Plops? You might be on the turnaround. And unfortunately, Jura just couldn't keep up. Allison pulled off a blinder for him, 14.5 points with a clean sheet hide in for good measure. Albanyamam wasn't too, didn't really do much considering he got an assist, like 10.5 is not great with an assist when he's at home to Huddersfield. Raheem, he just is a points machine, couple of key passes, a shot on target. In the day, they got beat 2-0. He was absolutely dog shit, and he got some racial abuse, and he still pulls out 13.5 points, so fair play. But his main guy, who else but old Matt Doherty? He's got to be probably the top of the whole goal scoring charts. He's a machine, that man. But wasn't enough to pull him round. So Plops, well done, old bean, 117.75. Beat Saturday Manny Happy Days is 88.5. Which brings us on to tie number 2, which has to go down as one of the lowest scoring ties of all time. Did they even get 100 points between them? 54-44. No, they did not. They didn't even reach treble figures with their combined teams. Now, I know Gabe wasn't impressed with Tupac's decision not to play all these players. But to be honest, I don't really see what the problem is, because to me, he's won the tie, fair and square. He can rest these boys. I'm not really sure what his point is. I mean, the fact that he rubbed salt into the gash playing Jamie Sterry and Lejeune says it all, but that's what he done, because Colo had an absolute stink pot. Considering 2 of his boys actually reached double figures, says it all that he only got 44.25. Single figures Edison, single figures Sane, single figures Joshua King, single figures Shaqiri, not starting off on the good debuts. Josh Murphy, single figures. Loftus-Cheek, single figures. Ryan Fraser, single figures. Minus figures for Laporte. He eventually cut his losses and got rid of him. Someone shit like Plops or Tin will probably pick him up. But I think where Colo's real downfall this week was he was too reliant on a player which was technically in form, but not really, because it was just a one-off. Picking up Lucas Perez because he bagged a couple of goals never works well. Picking up Loftus-Cheek because he scored a goal midweek. Do you know what I mean? You can't live Torre on short-term form, and it cost Colo, because all Trinity Cannons had to do, nearly half these score with Ben Davies, just one scorer. Him and Bobby Firmino pretty much scored what he had. So, I mean, you could afford Kasper Schmeichel getting -4, Andale Schürrle getting 1, Jamie Sterry and Lejeune not even playing. Do you know what I mean? He could afford doing all that because he'd earned the privilege, because he'd already won. So, fair play, Tupac. Bit controversial, but I don't really see that much controversy in it, in all honesty. Colo, you need to buck up your boys. Which brings us on to tie number 3, which was probably the best tie of the weekend, I think, which was Scranton Stranglers versus Tins Atletico Unpricked. Yeah, they both piled into the treble marks past the hundreds. Good scores by Marcus Alonso. He's actually turning out all right after a slow start. Robertson, another double points for his defenders. Van Dijk, more double points for his defenders. Doucouré, he got a goal. He was a late inclusion, I think. Might be wrong. But obviously he was in that game against Everton, grabbed himself a goal. Madison, he's turned out to be a good signing. Fair play to him, you did predict it. But he's still sticking with bloody Fabinho, who's a pile of fucking dog's dollop. Eden Hazard and Lukaku both done well with double figures. And I'll be honest, any other game week, in fact, if you were playing anyone else bar me or Gabe, you would have won. So you can feel a little hard done by. Especially Gabe didn't have loads of standout performers like Ricardo Pereira, single figures. Kyle Walker, I'm sure he's realising he's been shafted by STP getting Kyle Walker. Just didn't look at how he plays. He doesn't score well in Pep's system. Should know this. Don't base your choices on last season's scoring. Keita, he's going to get dropped soon. Gabe stole Keita and fucking, not Monreal, Bellerin, I think, off my waivers. Thought he was going to be good. Bellerin went straight away. Keita will probably be gone after this weekend. Milavilla, Djokovic got 3. Silva 1. But he was pretty much relying on his win by Mo Salah. So fair play, it was his first pick. It looks like Mo is hitting some form as the season's getting going. 42 points. Ooh, this is a lovely looking woman. Let us just show you. It's popped up at the side of my fan tracks. Don't know if you can see her. Don't know if you can see that. But can he? Fan tracks up in the game with the ads like. So Gabe stole it with that. Like, I mean, Joe Hart, he kept the clean sheet, got 11 points. Diego Dalot, he was a late submission. And Dele Alli, he bagged a goal, didn't he? Apparently it was like mirror image to his first ever Premier League goal against Leicester. Smashing it in with his bloody Kopf against Kasper Schmeichel. Done the same again for his 50th. So fair play Dele Alli. And fair play Gabe, well done. Which brings us on to the final tie, which was Bukaki Jackies versus the STP United. STP United giving it all this pre-match. I knew what was going to happen. I told him I would beat him. If I had more time, I would have put a bet on. But I didn't, and he's lucky. So I went to the pub with STP to watch it. And he fucking was nearly crying by the end of Saturday's play. Because who he had playing was, his main scorers were Serge Aurier and Sean Morrison. I put Sean Morrison in to try to counteract C-Pats for mine, but he obviously doesn't know how good C-Pats is. Because C-Pats, he's scoring Sean Morrison's points, but also honing him in the onion sack. So where Sean Morrison's probably one of his best scorers with 20 points, C-Pats is putting in 31.25. Now, and now there's a bit of a match debate over the scoring. Going to get on tonight, lads. But getting back to STP's lot, Snoddy's been decent. Snoddy grabbed another goal, 3 key passes. Oh, I was thinking 3 assists. Snoddy, 22 points. He's been decent, in fairness. He picked him up at the right time. But the rest of his team's real shit. Raul Jimenez, Amada Traore, fucking Seri, Milner, all average players. Great, mate. You should have learned from me not to take him. He's dog shit. Musaka, who gets a player that sounds like a Greek dish. 1 point. Nae good, pal. Nae good at all. So that's where you went wrong. And obviously STP reckons he's going to be top of the league. Mate, you got beat off someone in the bottom half of the league. How does it feel about that? First and second, I've just ploughed through their back doors all week. And I'm going to carry it on now with Gabe. Which brings us on to my team finally. Socrates, double figures. C-Pats, 31.25. Felipe Anderson, double figures. Diego Jota, late submission just to put ST out of his misery. Had a blinder, unfortunately, against Newcastle. And Emrash, Rash bagged 37.5 points, and what was beautiful about this was STP was sat right under Sky Sports News, and every time something happened, Rashford assist, Rashford assist, Rashford goal, Rashford pulled his pants down and shoved his willy up the ref's butt, extra 5 points. He honestly hated it. And just to top it off, kept the clean sheet against Man City. When was the last time that happened? 16 points. So STP was well and truly beaten, shafted like a shoe up the butt. So that sums it up. Piqué and De Bruyne, first win in a while. Chudley Cannons sneakily got his win by being a cheeky Charlie. Scranton Stranglers put in a solid performance. Unfortunate with Tim. And I totally pulled down, sleeve the perv's pants, spat on his butt, and just give it a little tap. Bap, 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 STP. So that's it, boys. Adios. Can't imagine you're going to be seeing me for a while, because I'll probably just sneak in with low scores, win all my ties, probably be top by Christmas. STP will be crying in his handkerchief. Good night. God bless. Mwah.